Let me move it back down.
Remember, I came in earlier, but unfortunately, the sunlight. I should have came in maybe an hour earlier. It would have been better, but how's everything going, guys? Okay, I just want to do a quick video. I've only got about 10 or 15 minutes. Let me see if I can, because right now, I think I might have to do it off. Like I just. Okay, so the deal. I wanted to do this live video because I have not come to you guys during the quarantine, and there has been a lot going on. And the reason why I haven't come to y'all during the quarantine is because I spent almost a month, about 3 weeks with a person who was quarantining with me, who I enjoy their company, but they don't know when to leave. What I will say is that if you are in a situation where you're a single woman and you're sexy and you're leveled up and you're just living your best life, quarantine is one of the worst situations because it forces you to have to like make choices about who you're going to spend your time with and take gambles. Like I took a gamble that I would spend time with this person and they would leave after a few days. Turns out it was 3 weeks. Now here's the thing. What we need to understand about men, and I think this is really clearly something that a lot of women don't know, and even I didn't know it for a while, is that they really want to feel like they are saving the day. This man, he really believes that he was doing something by occupying my own space for 3 weeks. And it was always an excuse when it was time for him to leave. And my thing is this: I'm a grown up. I'm not going to choose you. I invited you just for a little while, and you just don't know when enough is enough. So I've come to the point where after this coronavirus shit is done, because I guess so many people want to be so pessimistic about it, but after this coronavirus shit is done, I am literally going to put this person on a hardcore timeout. Like, we don't need, because sometimes men who are manipulative, they try to make it seem like they are helping you by being around you, like they're protecting you or doing something for you. But mister, do you have a gun? Mister, do you even have any money to put us on a flight? Mister, do you know anyone who can make an emergency hit right now? Literally, this emergency hit, and this man was not prepared even for his own self. I shared my resources with him because he's helped me in the past. But you know what? There's only so much sharing of my resources that I can do when I have limited resources to begin with. And number two, I'm not your girlfriend. And number three, I'm not a man. It was his responsibility. When I called him, it was his responsibility to come with money and to come with supplies. I knew he wouldn't have money. So I just said, bring yourself, and I've got a couple supplies. That doesn't mean come until all the supplies run out. That means come and enjoy your company for a couple of days and move on. There are a lot of men out here who think, and I'm sorry, but it is common amongst our brothers. They think because they're sitting next to you and they mean well from the bottom of their heart, that that's going to stop the big bad robbers from coming in. No, I'm sorry. The only thing that's going to stop them is either money or a weapon, and you have neither. So what asset this man is not a bad person, but he doesn't have, in an apocalypse situation, he doesn't have not one tool that would help us get to the next level. Not a car that could get us to another, it's so sad. Not a car that could get us somewhere, not a dollar that could pay for someone to drive us somewhere, no money. Literally, like, this is a man who thinks that he has saved the day by showing me where the pantries are. Well, I know where the pantries are, honey. Food is not an issue. COVID hasn't stopped food. The issue is, if we have to go and if something were to happen in this country tomorrow, I don't have a man in my corner right now who could, actually I do have one. So the gentleman from the Department of Finance, I've been speaking to him the last couple of days, and he's wonderful. He's the kind of guy that even though we're not together, he knows me from when I was a young kid, and he always calls to check in on me because he's older. And there's a good chance that if something bad were to happen, like even these last couple of weeks, he's been checking in on me, seeing everything's all right with my money and stuff like that. He's someone who would most likely check on me. I mean, I have other men in my life that would check on me. This man, he literally just wants to feel like he's in control of a woman, feel like he's in control of something. I try to offer my friendship in a way that to my producer's house in the middle of the night so that we could make some music and talk and shit like that and smoke. And when I'm talking to him, I'm like, hey, well, I have a friend that's been with me for like 2 weeks. And I'm like, but he's usually very self-sufficient. And then my producer says to me in a very matter-of-fact tone, he just says, well, how long did you say he was with you? For 2 weeks? That's not self-sufficient. I mean, you can't save the day for me, so you better go home and save yourself. I think like I would be better off as an individual woman being able to navigate than to have a man on my hip who brings and adds no value. And when I mean no value, I mean like literally almost no value. Like emotional value, yeah, he's a good person and he has a good heart, but it sure is hard to find that good heart in the bottom of such a callous demeanor and such a needy disposition. It's just so hard. I'm so glad that he's gone so I could get to my actual leveling up during this coronavirus. Like, I have not been able to do one thing. I finally did a facial yesterday. I have not been able to really take care of my skin the way I want to, take care of my hair the way I want to, because this man is in my space. And then it's like, well, what are the benefits that I'm getting? I think the only benefit I got was that he can cook sometimes, and he made a couple of things that were okay. But then he made other things that were just, I mean, anyone can make a lot of this food. The intentions are pure, but the results are not good enough. It's never good enough for me, and it's mostly because I don't want to be saved by him. Like, I literally, when yesterday I had the call with my coworkers, and one of my coworkers is just so handsome, and he is on me, and he is just so adorable and younger, and not super younger, but mature, and that to me is the type of man that I would align myself with. Like when I'm in the office, he offers me his desk, he offers me a seat, he gave me the answers to one of the exams that I had to take to get licensed. I mean, he's really just an honest to God dope type of individual and just knows his worth and is so smart and so young and sexy. So I really have been kind of low-key fantasizing about him. And when I say fantasize, I mean in the most physical of physical senses. Like, I've been thinking about him doing so many nasty things. And it's like, I can't fantasize with you next to me. Because I just literally sit back and think about, like, if this coronavirus situation wasn't happening right now, like, I'd probably be somewhere, like, bouncing on his dick somewhere. So I just don't. So it's so unfortunate because coronavirus came at a time where I was trying to build something new with someone. And it's like, of course, I have to be maligned by this bullshit and all the stuff that's going on. But on a more serious note, anyone who is watching this, who's lost family members and friends and, you know, colleagues and stuff like that to the coronavirus, the COVID-19, you know, I'm really sorry. And I really, really hope that you find happiness and you know that your family was loved and they loved you, but this government doesn't love you. So just know that. And once you know that, it'll be fine. But back to what I was saying, coronavirus has created in me what I've learned about myself over the last couple of weeks during coronavirus and quarantining for 3 weeks with one person was that, you know what? I actually have a lot more patience than I used to. I really have grown up. I mean, there were hundreds of times that I could have broken into arguments with this person, but I literally don't give one fuck. I don't have one fuck to give. So all I do is just enjoy the better parts of his, you know, most of the time things are good in the beginning and they start off great and they end up sour. I've come to expect that. I've come to expect that he's going to get upset if I ask him to leave. I've come to expect that if I'm not right next to him, he'll try to guilt me and make me feel bad about not helping him, even though he helped me a little bit. I mean, this is a person who helped me with rent for some months, but literally lived in my place. I mean, you lived here, so it really wasn't. And right now you're living or also the guise of coronavirus. And then in 3 months from now, when it's time to pay this rent that everyone is pretending they're not going to pay, you don't have any money to give me. If I go back to you and say, hey, you were here for a month, can you help me out with that month of rent? There will be no money. I mean, I really personally think that if you're not from America and you're not, let's say that you're undocumented and you know that your family is doing better in your country, I would say that this is the time to go back home. There are no jobs. There's no security. People are rounding people up by ICE left and right. I mean, if you come from a beautiful country in the Caribbean or you come from a wonderful country in Asia, like, why would you stay here? I mean, I never forget my very first job. I was 14 years old, and a lady I worked for, her name was Susan. She literally trained me, worked with me for 6 months, and she was one of the bosses, and she left. No one knew where she went, and turned out she went right back to China for the rest of her life. Drop of a dime, did not even let her Asian coworkers know. Like, you have to be that, I'm realizing as I get older, you have to be that determined and focused in your approach. Like, boy at work will end up being my husband, and we will end up having children because he has, like, I don't know if you've ever had a man look at you that way, give you the eyes, but he's giving me the same eyes that my fiance gave me, the one that passed. And those are the eyes that say, like, you could have my baby, you could have anything that you want. And he says it too. He says it in the group chats and WhatsApps. He's pretty much claimed me and everyone knows it. And so I just let him play his game. He's a little bit younger than me, so I just let him, he's still in his 20s. I just let him do what he do. He's young enough to have that amazingly beautiful young body and face, but old enough to be mature, know how to make money, know how to get money, come from a family that understands family. Like, he doesn't even really know that I think about him. And one of the main reasons is because he always throws a lot of like bravado around me. So what I do is, rather than reacting to his bravado, I just kind of keep him guessing how interested I am. But if he were to ever find this video, like, you will get fucked. you, yeah. And not even in a disrespectful way, but like, you could fuck me all day. And that's how I feel. Like, and very rarely do I feel that way about a guy, because it's like, now I'm just so turned off with guys being so forward and so thirsty. All I want now is to just be with a man I can have my children with and move on with life. Like, let's get married, hitched, let's have our little cute babies, and let's figure it out from here. I know America's getting to be crazy and coronavirus is threatening everybody, but that doesn't mean that we can't accomplish our goals. I mean, like, he gives me the look of like, he wants me to have his baby. And I know that look. Like, when you're in your early 30s, you know the look of a man that's like, not the man that's trying to have sex with you, not the man that's trying to exploit you, but the man that just drops his guard every time you're around him, because he knows, like, I value this woman and she's going to be in my life. So I need to slow my roll, calm down, taper down my bravado, taper down my arrogance, and appeal to her feminine and soft nature. Like, he talks to me in a low voice. He thinks of me as very feminine. So those are ways that he's winning. He talks to me in a low voice. He thinks of me as very feminine. He thinks of me as a young woman that should be protected, even though I'm older than him. He's taller. He's got very nice, like, he's not ripped up, but he's got that nice body that's like, he works out. He played basketball when he was young. But he's well toned, and he's maybe about 6 feet, 6'1". He's not super tall, but he's tall enough for me. I'm only 5'5.5". I used to want guys that were like 6. I mean, I've had guys mostly that are tall, 6'4", 6'5", but after being with Skinzo and knowing like 6'5" is a little bit of a reach, I don't mind the fact that Boy is only like 6'1" or 6'2". He really is fine as hell, and like he's definitely a good build. He has a nice like body, not too skinny, not fat at all. In like last couple of years, but I feel like Boy is not looking for an opportunity. He doesn't need me. He doesn't need my money. He doesn't need to come up. He's, you know, he's self-sufficient, stable, and sexy. So I think he is a viable candidate for husband. And I literally have been spending my whole coronavirus time thinking about him. And like, even while Boy was here, I just kept thinking like, this is just a temporary situation. This is a friend who has to recognize that he's in a friend's place. And if he doesn't understand it by now, I have to remind him. And also another thing is it's very difficult. This coronavirus situation has been very difficult because I actually haven't had much sex at all. I mean, no sex. Every time this man tries to have sex with me, I don't know if it's his body, I don't know what it's doing, but he's dealing with impotence and it's very bad. I mean, his dick doesn't get hard and it's been getting worse over the years. Like when I first met him a couple years back and, you know, it was okay, but it was soft sometimes. But now that he's approaching 40, it's like almost never gets hard. And I think he thinks I'm supposed to jump up and down and do tricks to make his dick hard. No, if you're wanting to have sex with me and you're sucking on my neck and kissing my breasts and things like that, and you're doing all that shit and your own dick is not getting hard, like, there's really nothing I can do. I know I'm a sexy woman. Half of the reason why you won't leave is because you're afraid that another man will be here to seduce me, when really I'm the one who's doing the seducing. I'm the woman. That's another thing. He thinks of himself too much in a feminine role, wanting to be seduced and wanting to be played with in the way that a woman would. And it's a little bit of a turn off. Plus he's so skinny, and skinny was cool when we were little. But now that after I had Steven Kutchko, my fiance, and I had a nice man to hold me every day, huge. Like even the guy before that I was with, Reggie, he was a 6'5" Haitian or 6'3" Haitian. And like, my thing is, I like men who can like grab me up and make me feel secure. Because during coronavirus time, I realized like, if you look to the right or the left and you don't see a man that is willing to drop everything and move heaven and earth for you, he's a loser. I mean, there's no contingency plan. All I hear is we got to make a plan. We got to do this. We got to do that. No, you got to do that. If you consider me your woman, you got to set up the plan. I'm only here to secure our future, our legacy, which is to keep my womb intact so I can have your baby and continue to populate this earth. Now that we're speaking in apocalyptic terms, people need to be honest. Like, these men are looking to be pampered and they're looking to be taken care of. And they're going to be right on the sidelines with a bunch of the women who haven't been spoken for or claimed. I'm trying to get claimed over the next couple of years by someone who is a warrior and has a warrior spirit. I don't want to be the warrior in my relationship. And that would be the way it is if I were to continue to entertain the person that was here. He really is just a friend at this point. We don't even have sex anymore. And I'm not going to continue to give my emotions to a person who can't even sexually gratify me or secure me in any way. Like, what are we doing? We really are just friends. Anyway, coronavirus and COVID quarantine has mostly taught me that I am patient and that but I do need to know when to put my foot down on certain things. And that beauty is something that is really in the eye of the beholder, because I jumped on a call yesterday with some filmy white stuff on my face that made my face look super crazy and shiny. And Boy was still looking at me with the lust of life. So it's so wonderful when you could see in someone's eyes like how much they want you. And it's showing up even through the camera lens. Like, it's coming even through a group conversation. So I literally think that and most likely he is my next move. nothing like having a house and a couple children and moving on with life and just understanding my position, because I will be building until I'm 40 years old out here with these broken down men that think they're entertaining my time. Quarantine time is for love, but quarantine time is not the time to go back into old habits. It's the time to level up and develop new habits, new strategies, and build new alliances with people that make sense. So, A Black Beauty is out, baby. Bye.